Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at this 2023 BMW X6 xDrive40i. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Definitely check out their website. That link is down in the description. But the X6 that you see behind me is finished off in mineral white metallic with an MSRP just over $89,000. And to start off today's review, let's take a look at what powers this X6. Underneath the hood is the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder twin power turbocharged engine paired to the 8-speed Steptronic automatic transmission. It pumps out 335 horsepower around 5,500 RPM and 330 pound-feet of torque as low as 1,500 RPM. That power is sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system. This weighs in right around 4,800 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds with a top speed of 155 miles an hour. And it has a fuel capacity of 22.4 gallons. You'll expect to see around 21 miles per gallon in the city and 25 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 117.1 inches. Its overall length is 194.8. It has a width of 78.9 and a height of 66.3 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this X6, let's start off with the kidney design for the grille. On this model, everything up front is finished off in gloss black, which is a great contrast to this white. Now this has a forward-facing camera nicely placed right in the middle, and then all the parking sensors are located throughout the lower section of the bumper. It even has active grille shutters, so the port just behind those vertical bars will open up to provide even more cooling to that engine. This even has the LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals with a really nice design for these housings. Now in the lower section, you can see there's also a forward-facing sensor. This is for the adaptive cruise and all of that technology. There's even cutouts too, and on the far corners there to provide even more aerodynamics and better cooling overall. There's some more of the black trim on both sides too, and then really aggressive lines run throughout the entire front end. Surrounding that entire black trim piece, there's even 2 lines that come down the hood, just matching the top of that grille very nicely. Now, as we work our way to the side, this specific X6 has the M Sport package, which gives it the red brake calipers. This has the M adaptive suspension, even the M Sport exhaust, which will start up here soon. And this model even comes with the massive 22-inch wheels, finished off in gloss black, which is, again, really nice contrast to see. Now, there's a black trim piece just behind that tire. This has body colored side mirrors. They have the integrated turn signal as well as a camera too. And as you can tell, the base is finished off in gloss black, matching the window surround very nicely. Now this even has a moonroof up top, and then very nice lines running down the side. From that trim piece just behind the front tire, you can see it goes all the way to the rear fender flare. There's also some nice lines above each fender flare too, and a line running at the height of the door handles. Now for the X6, this has more of that sportback design to it, so you can see that the rear glass is steeply raked compared to, let's say, an X5, where it has a little bit steeper of a rear glass. Now as we work our way to the rear, the backup camera is actually mounted just where the license plate would be. BMW badge is right in the middle. This has a set of LED taillights, which have a great look to them. This even has some gray trim in the lower section just to break it up with the white diffuser right in the middle. Like I mentioned earlier, this has the M Sport exhaust, which will start up here soon. And it also has a maximum towing capacity up to 7,200 pounds. Now you do have to have the factory hitch installed in order to do that, so you can get some pretty good towing capabilities out of this SUV. So with the exterior wrapped up for this all-new BMW X6, let's make our way to the cargo space, where I can use the button on the key fob or the one just to the left side of that backup camera. And with that power liftgate, you can see there is plenty of room once this is opened up. You have a lot of space. There's tie-down hooks, great flat surface where you can place items. There's even a hook located over on that driver's side. Over on the passenger side, there is a 12 volts. You can store items if you need to. You even have hidden storage space up underneath. Now this is on a hinge there with a shock, so it will stay open. You have the spare tire too, all the toolkits. You could use this for additional interior storage if you really needed it. And then you can fold both of these back seats down, and with them down, that gives you an ample amount of space. So this is a very practical all-around SUV. And even with the steeply raked rear glass, it doesn't really hinder the cargo space that much. You can see it has a pretty good angle to it, so you're not going to be able to fit taller items, but it's still very practical if you want this style. Now up on the top here, you can close and lock the vehicle. The one on the left side will just close it. And from there, we can fire this up with the remote start option. So all I need to do is triple tap on the BMW logo, and this will start right up. And then you can triple tap on this button again to shut it off if you need to. So it's a great feature to have. Now with this X6 locked, what I love is that you can actually use the back door handle to lock and unlock this. So it makes it very convenient. This door panel is covered in very nice materials. You can see all the black leather along with the brushed aluminum. It's on the release handle, even on the grab handle where this model has the interior ambient lighting. So you'll see that strip. There's wood trim just underneath that. It even has a manual adjusting sunshade, so you can raise and lower that as needed. There's plenty of space in the lower section of the door, and then the window control is just on the inside. The M badge is also down on the door sill, and the black leather continues its way to these seats where they have that diamond stitch pattern running throughout them. Now at 5'10", I'm gonna hop into the back seat now, where I do have the front seat set at my height, so I have plenty of room for my feet and my knees. There is a storage pocket behind both front seats, even a USB-C, so you can charge electronics and even hook them up too with this area on the right side. Now right in the middle, there are 2 air vents, and then all the climate adjustments for your backseat passengers, where you'd like the air to go, fan speed, temperature. This even has heated rear seats, which is a fantastic option. There's a little bit of storage space underneath that where you could place your phone or other items, and then a 12 volt at the very bottom. Now, like I mentioned earlier, with this sportback or coupe-like design, at 5'10", I still have about an inch or so above my head. So I do have an ample amount of space. It doesn't hinder the second row as much, which is nice to see. Now, right in the middle, we have the armrest. Just by pulling on this tab, you'll see there's a little bit of storage space on the back section of it, and then 2 cup holders are located in the front if you need to use those. And you can even fold the entire middle seat down separately from the other 2 if you need a little bit more storage for longer items to pass through. Now, as far as visibility goes, we do have a little bit of a pillar right there over the headrest, but there's a small window on the left side and then obviously the rear glass. So it gives you a lot of visibility even for the design, which is great to see. Now, as we make our way to the front seats, the door panels finish off just like the rear. However, there's the addition of the memory seating adjustments along with the massaging functions. You can even open and close the liftgate. There's lock and unlock, all of the window controls, as well as the side mirror adjustments, more of that wood trim, and a lot more storage in the lower section. So it's a very nice design. M is down on the door sill, just like you saw in the rear. And then looking at these black leather seats, same design to them. They are automatic seats, so all of those adjustments are down on the side. You can even further adjust this forward section just by pushing on this button on the side. So if you need a little bit more leg comfort, you can do that as needed. And it's just as easy to hop into the front. This is an SUV, so it is a little bit high, but we still have a low door sill, which is nice to see. Now, as we look at this steering wheel, it's completely covered in solid black leather. With the M Sport package, you get the M logo down below. This is a heated steering wheel. The volume and tuning controls are on this right side, along with Bluetooth and voice commands. Cruise control and adaptive cruise control are on this left side, along with the steering assist, the lane keeping assist as well. And then this even has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters finished off in brushed aluminum. But let's fire this X6 back up. With my foot on the brake, that button is finished off in crystal down in the center there, and we can bring this back to life. As we look at the digital gauge cluster now, on the left side is the miles per hour and the fuel gauge. On the right side is the tach and the engine temperature. You'll notice too that the navigation is fixed right in the middle, so you will always have that map front and center, which is great to have. And then within the tach, you have a lot more information that you can go through using that button over on the top of the turn signal stalk. So currently it's showing the odometer along with some other data information. We can even pull up live readouts for horsepower and torque. So if I give the vehicle some gas, you can see those adjust as needed. We can even pull up the G-force meter. You can look at your music along with what gear you're in and the driving mode that the vehicle is in. Currently it is in comfort at the moment. There's a live readout for MPG. Now over on the left side of the steering wheel is all the headlight adjustments, parking lights, even a dimmer switch for the gauges. There's a little bit of storage space underneath that if you need to place some items there. Hopefully you can see the interior ambient lighting strip. It's currently blue at the moment. There's more wood trim and brushed aluminum surrounding the air vent. The entire dash is covered in leather. This even has the heads-up display. Currently it's showing miles per hour as well as the speed limit sign. And then right in the middle is this massive touchscreen system, navigation along with music and phone. I can swipe over to some data information along with traffic and the compass. The last one will show you the date and the time, and you have two other areas where you could place some widgets as needed. Now over on this left side, this is all fixed information, so shortcuts to be able to get to your music, pull up your phone to go through all that info. We can pull up the map in full screen and you can put in all of that information as well. If we go into car now, you have a lot more information to go through. There's driving information. You can even look at your sport displays. So you can pull up G-force meter, horsepower, torque, vitals like that as needed, which is great to see. If I swipe back over, we can go into vehicle status, so you can monitor all of that information as needed. We have different settings to go into. Now I'm gonna move down to the rotary dial to further go through this information. You have the climate adjustments, your seat, interior lighting. You can go through a lot, even the general information to monitor all of that. And then we have the driving modes, so sport mode and eco mode, depending on how you'd like to drive. Now, if we go down, there's driver profile. So if you have more than one person driving this, you can quickly set that up. You can look at your owner's manual too. And then the last one, if we go all the way to the back, is apps. So if we go into the apps, this has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a few others that you can see just depending on what you like to go through. It's a very easy system to use. As you can tell, there's more of that ambient strip running all the way to the passenger side, just above more of the wood trim. Right in the middle, there are two air vents, even a shortcut to the intelligent safety. So if I go into that, this has the steering intervention, the active blind spot, lane departure, side and forward collision. So you can quickly set that up as needed. And just underneath that is another smaller LCD screen where you can view the dual climate for the front seat passengers. You can look at the temperature, where you'd like the air to go. This has heated seats and cooled seats just by pushing on one button. So it's nice to be able to set that up depending on what you need. And it makes it a little bit less cluttered in this row of toggles. Now there's some defrosters on both sides as well. It's nice to see the middle is finished off in brushed aluminum. Matches this surround very nicely. Now just underneath that, there's all the presets. Tuning is on this right side. Power and volume for the radios on the left side. And just underneath that, as you can tell, this has the key access card, so you can use this in place of the key fob. It's placed right on the wireless charger at the moment, so it's nice to have that, along with a little bit of storage over on that right side. There are two cup holders, a USB and a 12 volt, and then if I close this up, there's more of that wood trim, and you can get a better look at the ambient lighting strips on both sides, which is a nice touch. Now on this right side, this rotary dial finished off in crystal is how I was going through that information. There's also shortcuts to map and navigation, home, media and phone, and then two buttons on the back side. The center shifters also finish off with more of that crystal. Now the release is on this left side. If I push this forwards, now we have access to the 360 camera system. So currently you can see the backup camera. We have the top-down view on that right side. If I swipe over and we go to the 3D view, now you can see around the entire exterior. You pretty much have no blind spots. You have all of these presets basically to be able to see around it. And then we even have the top-down view if you're pulling into a spot or even a car wash, as it says. And it's nice to have all of the guidelines as well. Now going back into drive and popping it over into the manual setting, that allows us to use these steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, or we can shift using the shifter itself. And then park is located on the back side. Now on this left side, there's traction control. There's even a shortcut to the camera system. So you can quickly pull that up, even look at the forward-facing camera too. The parking sensors are located just behind that. And then all the driving modes are located just behind the engine start stop. So just by pushing on sport mode, you can see that appear. There's a few different settings to go into. The next one is comfort, where there's only one setting. There's Eco Pro and Eco Pro individual. And then the last one, there's a hill descent control along with the automatic hold assist, even the electronic parking brake too. It's nice to have those different modes just depending on how you'd like to drive. Now right in the middle with this center armrest, it has the split style to it. Plenty of room for all that information. There's even a USB so you can charge electronics. And then over on the glove box, there's plenty of room for all that information. We'll take another look at this interior. Very, very nice spec to see. Like I mentioned earlier, this does have the full moonroof, so you can use those adjustments right in the middle to open up the sunshade as well as further open up the sunroof. There's a call button on the back side, and then the dome lights are on each side. So as we set off in the 2023 BMW X6, this is definitely a very fun and sporty SUV. If you're looking for one vehicle, you want one vehicle that's practical like an SUV, but you also want something that's going to look a little bit more sports car-like and has more of a sports car design and feel to it, the X6 is a perfect blend that can pretty much do it all. You have a sports car in a sense. We have the M Sport package, so you get some goodies as far as being able to handle. We have the larger brakes and the suspension, even that exhaust. And then you have the practicalities of driving this like an SUV, towing if you need to. So this is a very, very perfect blend if you only need one vehicle. Now that we have this out on the road though, we're gonna put it into the manual setting. I'm also going to keep it in Sport Plus because why not? With that M Sport exhaust, it will get slightly louder. It's not too loud, but it has a good note to it. And I would say this is crazy fast. If you want a lot more power, you can get the M Competition. But for the weight of this and for the trim level that it is, I think it has an adequate amount of power. And these paddles are very, very responsive. I love how BMW makes these very quick and responsive, even if it's not as performance oriented as some of the sports cars, you know, the higher end trim levels. As soon as I tap this paddle, we are into that next gear. So it's very impressive to see that performance out of this SUV. And then just driving this on a daily basis, it's very comfortable. I have no complaints with how it's been riding so far. And we even have the massaging seats. I didn't really show that here earlier, but we have shoulder, lumbar, back. You can go to upper body. You can control a lot of information within that system, which is awesome to have. And then there's 3 different settings over here in order to shut it off as well. And now as we switch over to the POV angle, you can see what it's like to be behind the wheel. And we are up to speed just like that. This is such a fun SUV to drive. I really don't have any complaints with it. I've been in a lot of BMWs, so I have a lot of seat time behind the wheel of how they drive, how they perform, how everything on the interior works, as far as all the technology features. And I really like how BMWs have a good amount of technology, but it's also not hard to use at the same time. It's kind of more subtle, laid back compared to some other models, but I really like that because it gives you what you need without going overboard. And as far as visibility goes, as we come up to a stop here, like I mentioned earlier or showed from the back, over this right shoulder, the pillar is kind of bulky, but I really haven't had any visibility issues. It's pretty easy to get used to like any other vehicle that you're in. And we do have to make a 3-point turn here. But even over the left shoulder, very easy to see the cars that are currently coming. My eyes can see a little bit farther than where the camera is focused. And then just in drive, this will get up and shift very nicely there. So what do you guys think of the BMW X6? Comment down below. Is it a sports car? Is it an SUV? Obviously it's an SUV, but it has a great design to it. Plenty of performance, with the options to go for some more performance with the M Competition. But I think that is going to wrap it up for this 2023 BMW X6 xDrive40i. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Check them out, their link is down below. Give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoy it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.